For the love of money. Is money truly evil? That is the question we are going to answer today. We've all heard this. Many Christians, Catholics, we were raised understanding that money was evil. But was it? Were we told something that wasn't true? Were we told something that was passed down throughout the years that really wasn't what was meant? Now, was it purposeful? Or was it just a game of telephone throughout thousands of years of people passing down their stories, passing down the people's interpretations of the Bible, of Christianity, of the readings, of the scripture, of the word? Let's jump into this, because I think you might be surprised as we break this down and actually piece out what truly money is and what Jesus was talking about. Because let's be real, whether you believe in him or not, he has control over a large portion of the entire global population. I shouldn't say control maybe, but he has great influence over much of the population. Let's dive into this. And as a staunch Catholic myself, I feel that this is a very important topic, a Christian, to talk about, because this was something that I thought of as a kid, and just you kind of hear something you want to hear, and then you kind of take it and run with it. And this is something I've had to reprogram myself and get my habits back in order and re-paradigm myself, change my paradigm, my multitude of habits, as Bob Proctor would say, over the last 12 years. Money is evil. Loving money is evil. Loving money and the power it brings is the root of evil. What does Jesus tell us? For the love of money is the root of evil. The love of money. Not money is the root of evil. For the love of money. Let's say that one more time. For the love of money is the root of evil. And in one of the scriptures as well, he talks about one of the rich men, I believe his name was Lazarus, comes to him and says, hey, Lord, I'm doing everything that I can do. And I give money, I'm doing following all the rules. What else can I do? But Jesus knew that the man loved money more than he loved God. And he said, sell all your things, all your possessions, and come follow me. Basically saying, sell your stuff, put me first in your life. Put me first, put God first in your life, and you will find paradise. And put others first, in a sense, right? Put me first, put others first. You're doing good to God, you're doing good to others. The golden rule. And he just walked away sad, because he knew that he loved his things, his possessions, his earthly possessions, more than he truly wanted to do good. He was doing things just to check things off a list, which we've all been there. I've been very guilty of that in my life, just checking things off the list, to think I'm doing them, and think I'm doing my good deeds, think I'm getting stuff done. I'm just checking things off the list, but there's no real meaning behind it. Well, again, the higher being knows that. That's what's in here is what counts. That's what we're tackling. But again, more important is, what is money? We're talking about what is money here. And this cuts to the core of what so many people believe, and probably a lot of religions believe this and have been taught this. For the love of money is the root of evil, not money is the root of evil. Again, that is so incredibly important. The love of money. Making decisions in your life solely based off of if it will bring more money into your life. And I'm going to use money throughout this entire article, because the scriptures say say money. They don't say currency. Right now we have all fiat currencies in the world. So don't get it confused. Money is gold and silver and Bitcoin. That has to have the properties of store of value to be considered money. We don't have that anywhere. No government currencies, no fiat currencies have a store of value property in them. They're all backed by nothing. They're all worthless. So I'm going to use money throughout this, but just know that it's really talking about currencies. And there will be a moment or two I talk about sound money, but you'll probably be able to pick up the difference at this point. Again, making decisions in your life solely based off if it will bring more money into your life at the detriment of everything else and everyone else is the evil Jesus spoke about. That is the difference. And we've seen this a lot the last couple of years. And we all know that we've been that person in life. We've all been there. I've been there. Everyone's been there, where they look back and say, wow, I did something that was maybe a short-term solution. Maybe it was a short-term thing. I compromised on my morals. I compromised my integrity. I compromised on my loyalty, my honesty, whatever it was, because of the almighty dollar, because of the almighty currency, because of the almighty money. That pull, that lure. And what does money truly represent? It represents freedom, quite honestly. Most people don't really want more pieces of paper laying around. They want freedom at the end of the day. And it's being able to separate these two things and understand what it truly is. That's the difference. And that's what makes people, whether rich or poor, evil, whether they have money or whether they don't. You have to be able to separate these things. We have all conflated this way too much. And this is so incredibly important, because I do truly, in my heart of hearts, believe if we can start understanding what money truly is, there are so many great people out there like Robert Breedlove. There's many, many great people out there truly trying to understand what is money and diving deep into what is money, the topic itself. And it's so important because if we start understanding money, what it is, the earth starts healing very quickly. We come back to a higher being, a higher sense of self, using our higher faculties, believing in God, or if you don't believe in God, believing in a higher faculty, ushering in humility, removing ego and vanity from our lives. Those are the things that money can make you more of, or it can make you less of. It just depends on what's in here, what's inside of you. And I believe there's a good person inside of all of us. But remember, we need to understand what it truly means, what it represents. What money represents: freedom, or it represents time, your time and energy, right? Money is just a container for your time and energy, which we'll talk about in a second. But this is what's so important. If we can piece this together and then be able to parcel it out and then piece it back together again, then it makes much more sense instead of just throwing this all in a bucket and just claiming everything's the same, just like currency and money, and they're all the same. The dollar is money. No, it's not. We have to be able to piece these things out. Jesus didn't say the love of, or he didn't say money is evil. He said the love of money is evil. Again, kind of like the money changers and tax collectors who set up shop inside and outside the temple in Jerusalem and made people pay just to worship God and collect taxes while skimming off the top. These are all types of evil acts that hurt others. They hurt God, in essence, right? So they're hurting others, you're hurting God, while enriching themselves. That is exactly the love of money, is what God was talking about, what Jesus was talking about. Ironically, short-term gain, these high time preference moves, seemed like a winning strategy for a short period on earth, maybe 50 years, 100 years, or maybe probably just a few years, really, until they got caught. And in the long run, a person's soul, pieces of every time someone is lying and cheating and stealing, losing their integrity, their morals, compromising their morals, compromising on their faith, their soul is rotting away, piece by piece. That is the true travesty in all this. In the long run, their souls who are lost, who operate in this fashion. And again, Jesus knew, and I'm actually going to be writing a book about this in the next year here, possibly called the love of money, for the love of money. And working on the title, if you have any, separating this, what truly is money, what it means, and what Jesus actually meant by that, and why people are so confused by this. And I would contend that Jesus knew what was going on. He knew that in an inflationary currency, he knew, and this is my opinion. This is my opinion. But he knew, no one can know this for sure, obviously, right? But when you start laying this all out, it starts to make sense. Jesus knew that there was an inflationary currency, even though it was gold and silver. They were clipping the coins, right? He says, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. Because everyone can give to God, right? Which means giving to humanity, really. It means treating others with respect, treating society as a whole as good people, and just being a good person. That's, long story short, what he was saying. And then, Caesar wants his taxes, give Caesar his taxes, right? He knew that in an inflationary currency, there's no way that the people of the day could get out of that. He knew that in an inflationary currency, because that's what was happening, they were being debased, the gold and silver was being melted down, being stolen from the people, coin clipping, all that. That's what was happening at that time, and really for thousands of years, and Jesus knew there was no way out of that. So he's telling the people, in this inflationary currency, in this fiat currencies that you're using, you cannot be focusing on just getting more in this hamster wheel. Because if you're constantly focused on doing what someone else wants you to do or compromising yourself just for more pieces of paper, you're going to lose yourself. That's what Jesus was saying. He knew there wasn't sound money. So how could he say anything else? If we had sound money, then people, no matter what ilk, no matter what level, whatever class they're in, could all start saving in a sound money that actually couldn't be corrupted, and they could all accrue wealth over time no matter what if they saved and if they were responsible. And then they could escape the rat race over time and start doing God's work. If time was then on their side and they were increasing their time and energy by saving in a container that didn't lose value, then you could all start doing what God wanted. You could all start living that higher purpose and that passion, that calling, what's inside you, what God's calling you to do. But God knew that. Jesus knew that. That's why he was saying that. That is my interpretation of that. When you really start piecing this out and looking into this, many Christians and Catholics grew up being taught that money was just plain evil. An oath of poverty taken by religious leaders was somehow spilled over into the congregations, and the lines got blurred somewhere in the past. More on that in the book as well, talking about the Depression, because I believe 100 years ago was one of those times when this really ramped up, and the churches were from my knowledge so far, we're giving in to the governments and saying there's too much going on here as a depression. We have to give up, and you're the one that has to do this now. But that's neither here nor there. These lines got blurred in the past. Money is just a tool. Here we go. Money is just a tool. That's it. Money is just a tool. It is an inanimate object. Inanimate. It's a noun. It's a thing. It's a thing. That's all it is. Money is just a tool. An inanimate object. So how could it be evil? Money is just an amplifier. That's all it is. It makes you more of what you already are. So how could it be evil? How in the world could it be evil? It's just a tool. It's just a thing, an inanimate object. And it makes you more of what you already are. So you're a bad person, it makes you more of a bad person. If it makes you a good person, it makes you more of a good person. You're able to spread that more. So how could that be evil? How could a tool, a thing that just sits there, be evil? The person could be evil. What someone does could be evil. But money on its own is not evil. Again, Timothy chapter 6, verse 10, first book of Timothy. The love of money. The love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money, not an inanimate object. The love of money. Money is free speech. It is communication. When we break this apart, like we did above, and showing that it's just an inanimate object, and what people do with it is what the evil is that Jesus was talking about. When we break this apart, we can see a distinct difference between money itself and the love of money. Money can represent power over someone in the way that you project it over other people, of course. Money that is sound and incorruptible is the truest form of expression and speech. Money could also cause you to lose sight of what is important in life, obviously, right? Lack of money could cause you to do the same thing. So either too much money or not enough is either evil or it's not at all. So when you put it in those terms again, if you say someone has too much money or money is evil, then someone with too much or too little. If you're too poor, then you could be evil. That's evil too. Or being in the middle. Just not having too much and not having too little. Now you're evil. That's why it doesn't make sense. Money itself is not evil. The love of money is the root of evil. Again, it is what people choose to do with the money or the lack thereof that is either amoral or moral. I see very wealthy people, and we all do. We all see people who are very wealthy and evil. We all see people who are very, very poor doing evil things. It's all relative. Money is the most important message you will send or receive. Money is the most important data point we have. And I think it was Nico Jones or Opti or somebody at Simply Bitcoin, or I can't forget now who was saying this, but money is the most important data point we have. When you spend money, you are alerting the world that this product or service is worthy of your economic time and energy. It's worthy of that. You're now signaling that to the world. Now the world can price itself according to free market principles and free market price discovery. If people are acting in their own best interest, not what they think someone else would want them to do, or what mom and dad want them to do, or what the seller wants them to do, or how they want them to buy, then you could have pure price discovery. However, that's going to be tough with human beings, right? But in a vacuum, that could be the case, right? When you accept money also, so when you spend money, you're signaling that. When you accept money, you're also signaling to the world that it is this money, you're accepting the world that this money is worth the time and energy you spent on the good or service you sold. So, conversely, you're signaling to the world that this money is worth that. So those two people come together and create a transaction. That now is signaling to the world that this good or service is valued at this. And then the market kind of keeps determining, no, someone else didn't think it was, or they thought it was, and it finds that equilibrium. Water finds its level. You can see now how important money is to the market, to humans, and to share value across the world. And it creates balance. Sound money creates balance. Not fiat currencies, not corrupted monies, not corrupted currencies, not any of that. Actual things of value, Bitcoin, gold, and silver. Sound money creates that balance. And now you can begin to see why corrupted money, fiat currencies, are so detrimental to the market. The distortion fiat currencies cause in all pricing of goods and services is one of the massive symptoms of a broken monetary system. Anyone, we see that today at all, with interest rates swinging all over the place, violently going up, violently coming down, the debasement of currencies, the printing of currencies, interest rates going back up and down, going crazy, credit default swaps, repurchase agreements between banks, all kinds of rob Peter to pay Paul, out of this pocket into the other pocket, all kinds of games being played, right? Credit worthiness, bond market games, Moody's, repricing everything to, benefit themselves and the people they like. It's an absolute mess. It's an absolute disaster, right? Bailouts, absolute joke. And so this container, we've shown this picture many times. This picture is so incredibly important. But this is what money truly is, an economic container for your time and energy. Which container will you store your finite time and energy in? The one of sound money in a perfect container that has no leakage, like Bitcoin? Gold and silver has a tiny bit of leakage, or in the broken monies over here with tons of leakage, 5, 10, 50, 100, 1,000% inflation. These holes get bigger and bigger and bigger. Fiat currencies just destroy your wealth. Your time and energy just flows right out the bottom. You wonder why you have to keep on that hamster wheel every single day. Money is an economic container for your time and energy. When you have your wealth stolen from you through inflation unwillingly, it is your life being stolen from you. Because remember, what does money represent? It represents your time and energy. It represents your life. So it's not just pieces of paper or digits in a computer. What is truly being stolen from you? That is time you could have spent with your loved ones or friends. The container better hold the same properties your time contains. Whatever you're going to choose to store that wealth in, it better hold those same properties. Finite time better have a finite money that can do that is worthy trade. Fiat currencies leak their value like a container with a hole. This is done through debasement, or commonly referred to as inflation or currency printing. Every time the ruling class passes bills or loans go out through fractional reserve lending, they are lessening the value of each dollar held in your hand, period. This forces you to run harder and harder each day, and wondering why the wealth gap keeps expanding and wages cannot keep up, and why ultimately food prices doubling over last year, and why there's too much month at the end of your money. We have the answers. We have the parallel system being built right now. They're all there. The choice is ours. Stay strong. Appreciate you on this journey. Please let me know how we can better serve you, better provide content, entertainment, what topics you would like us to go and seek out here in the future, and provide analysis, entertainment, education for you. So appreciate your time and energy. Like we just said, it's the most important asset we have. It's the only finite asset we have besides our Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only finite asset I know of besides our time. You let me know any other finite assets, and I'll be glad to share them. So I appreciate you more than anything. Appreciate you spending your time here, because I know how important that is. Hopefully you got something out of this. Please share it with someone you think is right on the edge of understanding this, might need it, or maybe they just need a swift kick to the face. I don't even know. As we know, most people aren't punched in the face anymore. They've never been in a fight in their life. That's a whole different topics we're going to get into, of people not being punched in the face, quite honestly, and especially men. When you're a boy or growing up, you need to get punched in the face. You got to have a wake-up call, some personal responsibility and accountability, knowing that actions have consequences. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot in that life anymore. Speaking from a man who's been punched in the face many times. Good old hockey, right? I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. And please go check out some of these other videos we just talked about, these other blogs, talking about FTX blowing up in the last couple of days, and Elon Musk and the psyops that are being performed by the media. And we have an article tomorrow, probably tomorrow, coming out about, isn't Elon Musk who we all think he is? I think both sides might have it wrong. We're going to dive more into that. And also let me know what you think about the working title of For the Love of Money, the book I'm going to write. So I've got some kids' books we're going to be working on, but also we are going to work on this book as well, For the Love of Money, explaining truly what money is, dissecting this, and going through that, and separating, what Christians and Christianity, kind of taught for a long time. So we'll get into that. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.